Hey guys, and welcome to episode 19 of Surgan's Feed the Beast Season 3 Let's Play. I'm sitting here in my base, and now we're done with magic for right now. I'm gonna let my golems work outside. But, it occurs to me that I really don't have any income of any materials except for what I go get manually. And I think we now have the infrastructure ready for automated mining. I've looked around, and a lot of people have asked on the Reddit forums how to do automated mining in the Horizons pack. So I figured, you know what, I'll show you guys. So what we're going to do is use RotaryCraft. That's really one of the only ways. The other way would be magical crops, and that's not really automated mining. That's more of growing what you need. And if I look here, I should have lots of power. That is just so much power, it's not even funny. So I might as well start using it. So what I'd like to make with automated mining is I want to start, let me grab my RotaryCraft book. There's a couple different machines that we can use for automated mining. And let me pull them up here. The first one is a boring machine. And the way that the boring machine works is you set it down and it digs horizontally, and it just keeps on going in a straight line. It's not a huge area, but it does keep extending, and the block itself doesn't actually move, so it makes it really easy to try to pump items out of it. The other machine that we can use is, let me see if I can find it here. I know exactly what it looks like. There it is. The pile driver. Now the pile driver kind of works the opposite, where the boring machine goes horizontally. And what I mean by that is, the way that I'm facing, if I set it up right here, it will constantly dig in that direction, and it will collect up the drops. The pile driver digs down, but it doesn't collect the drops. So I figure what we can do is we can use a culmination of these machines. We use the pile driver to dig a shaft wherever we want to start mining. And then from there, when we get down to a good level, then we can put down our boring machine. So let's start with the pile driver. And I'm just going to put everything together first here in my AE system, and then we'll have to put it in the work table, right there. So the first thing that I want is the flywheel, since I do have a couple of gears. So we have the flywheel, and let me see if we have any base panels and shaft units. I do have a couple of base panels, so that'll at least, we don't have to worry about making those. And I have 3 shaft units, and I'm just gonna put, yeah, that's fine. So if we go back to the pile driver, we have the shaft units and the base panels, so the only thing that we really need is the drill, which I have all the steel in my inventory here. So 1 drill and 8 times gear unit. Now this is going to be a little more consuming here. So we're going to need first a 2 times gear unit, which I don't think I have the gears for. And I'm going to make 3 sets of gears, because I'm assuming I'm going to need 8 of them. And 2 times gear unit. Throw that in our system. And then we need a 4 times gear unit, which is 2 times gear units. Okay. So we're going to need a couple more of those. So I might as well make some more shafts. One, two. It says 8 times, but it only looks like it's 6. Not sure why it says 8. So there we go. So we have everything that we need, and we should be able to come over here. We need 2 shafts. We need our drill, our 8 times gear unit, our iron flywheel, and our base panels. And we have our pile driver. And I'm just going to go ahead and pick this up here. I'm going to have to make another industrial coil later because this is still outputting power. And let's go find a good spot for it. I don't want to pick any place right next to my base just because I'm going to be digging a big hole. Okay, this spot looks good enough. And if I open up my map, you can see... Oh, a little too far. You can see I'm far, not too far away, but I'm a good ways away because my house is right here. So I'm a good little distance. And so what I want to do is set up my pile driver, and it looks like it can input power from either side. And if I look at my handbook, and we go to the pile driver, there it is. We can see that it impacts the ground, breaking it apart, taking a deep, narrow shaft, and this shaft will go through any liquids in its path, go through everything but bedrock, and sometimes it requires multiple impacts to break harder materials. Now it does say that the vibrations will dislodge things like paintings, uproot saplings, and disorient players. So I do have to be careful of this. And we want to put... It looks like it's a whole bunch of torque. So we need 80,000 torque. Well, let's go ahead and set it up, and we're just kind of guesstimate on the actual power. And I think I actually need to turn that around. So, grab my screwdriver here. What? That's weird. There we go. And I don't have a lever. Of course, I don't have a lever. Well, there's an easy way to fix that. Let me just see if I can get a piece of stone. Excavator works. Go away, pig. I always forget levers. I should probably put like a stack of them in my my knapsack. Okay. So now I have at least one lever, which I'm guessing I probably want to put above the pile driver. So I'm going to put it right here on top. And that's just because this, like I said, this is going to dig straight down. And so I don't want to put the lever like right here and then it just falls off. So we're going to need at least 80,000 torque. And let's just put 256 for the rads and see what happens. Oh, see, this is what happens when you're close to this thing. That's gonna make me sick. I gotta puke. Let's try getting closer without being on the ground. back, go back. This thing is a little hard to navigate sometimes. So as you can see here, that basically what it does is it just sits there and pounds the ground. And since we're not standing on the ground, I'm assuming that's why it's not affecting us. Or it could be because we're up high enough. I don't know. Let's see. Or because it's, yeah, it's because it's pounding way down there. So that's fine now. So we can see sneak here. It's not even updating for me. But you can hear it just digging away. Now I don't want to go down there because, well, here. Okay, if he lived the fall, this pile driver, when it hits, it will actually kill you. So you have to be careful of that as well. The other thing is, you can see we don't get any drops, right? It's just digging a tunnel down. There's no drops popping out. They're all down there. But just like I said, it's no. No! Okay. See? This is what I mean. I don't know why it's doing this. I at least got my broom. So we're down at Y level 45. Let me see if I can get... Ah, they're phantom blocks. There we go. At least we have a way out. Okay. So I'm going to let this dig down to... Well, I'll let it dig all the way down to bedrock. Why not? And then we can go make our boring machine. Okay. So as you can see, we made it all the way down to bedrock. Now, most of the way down, I had actually moved my pile driver. And that's just because, you know, the farther down it is, the less it has to extend. So it made getting down a lot quicker. And you can see here, we're at bedrock now, right? So we're right here, I'm on Y level 3. So I'm going to go ahead and collect up this stuff and head back to the base. And now we can start making the boring machine. And you might think that that you want your boring machine down at, you know, Y level, say 12 or something like that. But where I want it is right here, right on top of this top bedrock here, right? Because I want to expose as much bedrock as I can for a couple of reasons. One, I can still use my boring machine to mine out, say Y level 10, even if I set it down at 6. So that's number one. The other reason is because I want to expose the bedrock. And unfortunately, that's probably going to be another episode for the reason. So let me collect up everything, go back to the base, and I'm actually going to probably put a roof on this, because I don't want to just sit, well, you know what, screw it. If mobs drop down, it's their own fault, they're going to die. So let me collect up everything and I'll meet you back at the base. Okay, so we're back down in our basement, and if you remember, I told you that there was 2 machines that can automatically mine. So we've seen the pile driver, and remember, the pile driver just drops its drops. I mean, there's really nothing you can do about that. You have to go down and pick it up. Turn it off, jump down, pick it up. But there's another machine, and that's the boring machine. The other thing that we could get into is the arcane bore, which we might at some point. I might play around with that. And everything needs to be made in the work table, so we're going to do that here. I believe it was right here. Base panels along the bottom. Actually, I think this was over here. And then the 2x gears, and then circuit boards. Boring machine. So we'll grab both of those. And let me see if I have the shaft junctions. I don't. So let's make one of those as well. Shouldn't be too hard, just some base panels, a gear. Yeah, we should have just about everything. There we go. So we should have everything that we need. I do want to grab a couple of pipes. The transfer pipes. And I'm going to need a couple of chests. Now, one other thing that I do want to make, because I don't want to have to go out there and collect it, and then come back, and then go out there and collect it. So, let's do an ender chest. Actually, you know what? I wonder if I could just do another tesseract. We'll try with an ender chest first. Okay. No obsidian. Okay, let's try with a tesseract. Since I did make tesseracts before, I'm gonna go ahead and make 2 tesseracts off camera, and then I'll meet you out at that big long hole in the ground that we made. Okay, so I'm back down here, and now I have our boring machines. And I actually want to put one right here and one right here, and they're facing the wrong way, so I want to turn them around. There we go. And you can tell it's the back because that's where these little dots are, and that's basically meaning that's where the power needs to come into. So I just have one facing this way and one facing this way. And what we can do is we can take our chest and put our chest right on top. And that way it will output right into our chest. And if we open it up here, let me get rid of NAI. If we open it up here, you can see an interface, right? And the way that this works is this right here is where the boring machine is. So if we click on that, that means it's going to dig a straight line right in front of it, right? So it'll just dig this block and keep on going in that direction. But if I tell it one more above it, then it'll dig this one and it'll dig this one. So you can tell it specifically what you want it to dig. And in this case, I want to get the max amount that I can get. So I'm just going to tell it, go ahead and dig everything. Now, there's a couple other things that this machine can do. Say you were digging an area for, just to put tracks down, and you really don't care about the drops. You're just digging, say, a tunnel inside of a mountain. You can actually turn the drops off, and then it's just going to get rid of them, right? It'll still suck them up, but it's just going to get rid of them. You won't get anything. So if you really don't care about, whatever it digs up, then you can turn that off. But I'm going to leave it on because I actually want to get what it mines. The other thing, the reset position, that means that say it dug a long way in that direction, and say you want it to restart, then that's when you would hit the reset position. It would restart right back here at this block. Why you would want to do that? Well, say you put something in front of it and you just want it to start over because it's not going to keep going. Or say you broke the pipes and you ran down that big tunnel. And I'll show you what I mean when it gets started. If you did that, you need to reset the position for it to start again. So I'm going to go ahead and set this one up the same way. Just go ahead and turn all of them on because I want it to dig out the biggest area it can. So right here might be Y level 6, but this is 7, 8, 9, 10. So we are going to be digging out a good little area. And this is why we wanted the shaft junction. So I'm going to plop this down right here and configure it so that it's facing those two, but I want it to be those two to be output and this one to be input. And let's go ahead and set this up right here. And I'm just going to turn it so that way the output is going that way. And I can actually just put the lever right here. So what I want to do is look in my handbook here, and we want to go to the boring machine. Oop, past it. And we can see that it requires up to 512 torque to cut through the harder materials. It looks like it needs 64 watts per hardness point. So what I've actually found, and we want up to 3200 watts. Okay. What I've actually found is I'm going to put this at 248. And that's because when it gets here, it's going to split it. And I want it 1024 each. And then here, well, let's see. We want total, we want 3200. So if I pull up my calculator, which unfortunately you can't see, and I do 32,000 divided by 1024, gets me 31.25. So about 32. So I'm just going to set this honestly to 64. It's not like we're using a lot of power. And if we turn them on, okay, so it already looks like this one's having problems. Okay, so I got it working. I figured out what was wrong. This right here, the shaft junction, wasn't set to 1-1 even, so it wasn't splitting the power evenly. And I found that out by using my angular transducer. You can see here, we're getting 2 megawatts on that one, and 2 megawatts on this one. Now, I should be able to actually down this power a little bit. Let's do 256 and see, just make sure. Now, the more power that I put into it, the faster it's going to go. So if you have the power, don't worry about, putting a little bit extra in it. And let me show you what I mean. So let's put in here 20,000. So if we watch, this is going to start cruising. Actually, let's put a little bit more. Let's say 5,000 here. It's going to take a second for that to catch up. There we go. So the more power that we actually put in this, and I'm not sure if it's just the speed that really affects it, but let's just give it a, there we go. Look at that. Now I'm probably going to crash the server. Oh, no. Stop. I know I'm going to crash the server. Okay. Well, I just got a whole bunch of drops real quick. Now's probably a good time to set down my Tesseract. So what I planned on doing is putting my Tesseract here, and I made a trash can here, and I'm going to put that down here, and let's do the transfer. Oh, you know what I didn't grab? I didn't grab transfer nodes. Oh no. And you can see, yeah, I probably shouldn't have put that much power into the machines. But you can see I just filled up the chest and then it just started spewing everywhere. And if we look down here, I mean, this is what happens, right? It creates a tunnel with these tubes. And it's kind of dark because of the the bedrock here plus the fact that there's no light. But you can see that it just tore through this super quick. I think it went a little bit more than I really wanted it to. Yeah, see, I don't even know where this ends. So we might want to turn them to a different, yeah, see, here we go. So we might want to turn them to face a different direction. So I'm going to go ahead and try to clean up some of this stuff. And then we're turning them a different direction and let them run a little bit slower. Because at that speed, I can tell you right now, my system's not going to be able to handle that. Okay, so I have everything turned around and cleaned up. Luckily, I didn't crash the server. And now, I just want to set it up with chest here, and since we're going to be digging in this direction, and actually I need to turn this on so that way it'll dig out everything. I'm sure I lost a whole bunch of stuff by telling it to dig that fast. It's not typically something that you want to do. Most systems aren't going to be able to handle that influx of materials all at once. I mean, you could see I almost crashed the server from everything just falling. So make sure to reset the position on both of them just in case they remember anything. And now, if I didn't have the drops on, then doing that's just fine. Say if I wanted to dig a hole, you know. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to set up a trash can and a tesseract. And so let's do those, since we're going in this direction and this direction. Let's do, great. Let's do the trash can right here, and I'll do the tesseract, I don't know, I'll say right here. And I actually grabbed some item ducts. And item ducts are from thermal expansion, and they're just made with hardened glass and some tin on either side. And you get 4 of them. And basically, they're just like transfer pipes. And what I want to do is I want to put this here, and I actually want to right-click on this, and I want to tell it whitelist cobblestone for right now, because that's all I have. So cobblestone's going to go in here, and I want to tell this to blacklist cobblestone, because I don't want cobblestone to go this way. And so now all I have to do is hook up right here to these chests and hook it up. And the way that these arrows go is blue means that it's going to input into here. And if I take my crescent hammer, I can actually whack these and tell them red means that they're going to output. But for right now, I don't want them to output. So let's go ahead and turn this on. Did I set both of them? I set that one. I set that one. Okay, so we're turn this on. Why for you no work? I didn't use all the power in this thing. I know I didn't use all the power. Really? What? Maybe I used all the power. Okay. Let me go get a little bit more power and set this back up. Okay, so now I have another industrial coil with a good little bit amount of power. It doesn't have a huge amount, but that's okay. We're going to make this nice and slow so that way our system can handle it. So again, I'm going to put 2048, and this time I'm just going to do, say 256 for the rads. And make sure this is a 1-1 even. I didn't want it to turn on just yet. Let's try it now. There we go. So it looks like that is enough for both of them to run. And if we look, we should not be using a whole lot of power very quickly. Yeah, see, it's just going down nice and slow, so that'll last us a good little while. Now, what it's doing right now is it's going to put all of the materials that it gets right here into the chests. And what I want is I want to see if I can find some dirt. Oh, I don't see any dirt. Ah, there's dirt. And so I want to tell right here, let's just get an empty hand. I want dirt in the white list for the trash can, and in the black list for my tesseract. So I don't want dirt to come down here, and let's see, marble, cobble, I'll keep an eye on that. Actually, you know what, I really don't need marble cobble either, or basalt cobble. I'm sure right now I already have plenty of it, so let's just set it up so that all of this just gets trashed, because I don't even want to transport it to my base. I just want it to just get trashed right here, so that way I don't have to worry about it clogging up the tesseract. So marble cobble, basalt cobble, and then as soon as it hits gravel, I should be able to put that in there as well. So now all I have to do is take my crescent hammer and whack it, both of them, so that they're both outputting now. And you can see here, if we watch, the cobble should go into the trash can. Perfect. And everything else should go into our tesseract. Now, the other thing that I want to do is I want to check to see where our chunk boundaries are. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I was afraid of. Of course, I built this thing right on the corner of 4 of them. And I only brought down 2 spot loaders. So I'm definitely going to run one right here because I need that tesseract to be loaded. And I don't need this chunk to be loaded. So what I should be able to do is just throw this one spot loader right on top of that chest there, and then I'll just get one more to throw on top of this chest. Now the way that spot loaders work is unlike chunk loaders, they only load one chunk. So this should keep going, and you can even see that's a pretty decent speed right there. But it does look like my system is able to at least handle it. Most of it's getting trashed anyway. So, unfortunately, I think that this is a good wrapping up point for this episode. We now have automated income for mining, and maybe next episode depending on how much power, since I did blow through like all of our RotaryCraft power, depending on how much I have, I'll show you why I wanted to come down to bedrock. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, I'll see you later.